Good day, everyone. I'm attorney Linda Bernard. Thank you for joining us on Chop It Up with Linda Bernard here today on WJZZ Cool TV. It's only for cool people. And I think I have the coolest lady in Detroit today as our guest. And you can watch us and check in with us either now or later on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for watching WJZZ Cool TV. As I said earlier, I think one of the coolest ladies and actually personalities within the state of Michigan is my guest today. Her name, as you can see if you don't recognize her already, from her beautiful locks, is Dr. Sabrina Jackson. Hi, Sabrina. How are you today?
Hey, Linda.
Girl, you're something else. Your smile lights up a room, and I'm sure everybody tells you that.
Thank you so much. I do get that compliment quite a bit about my smile.
I remember a woman. Her last name was Prowse, who was a dancer, and she had insured her legs. She was Juliet Prowse, I believe was her name, and she was the first woman to ever insure her legs. You should insure your smile.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Just in case something happens to it, you just get $1 million immediately because it is your trademark.
Thank you so
It really,
much.
really is.
Between that and my hair, I hear about people always comment on my smile or they comment on my hair.
And as I've told you before, you remind me so much of a dear, dear friend of mine, the infamous Randy Crawford. Street Life and Rio de Janeiro Blues. There you go.
There's no place I can go. Street life.
You sound like her actually. You must sing her as well.
I do sing.
I see. Well, you're going to her country pretty soon. She lives in LA.
Oh, good.
And
I have to
there's a
meet
number of
her.
really cool jazz places there. And I will make sure that occurs.
Absolutely. I love her.
But let's talk about you a little bit. You're
Okay.
a native Detroiter.
Yes, I am.
Who was distinguished academically.
Yeah.
And who now has a PhD from where?
Capella University.
Okay. And that PhD is in?
Organizational psychology.
I see. What does that mean?
The psychology of organizations, how people work together in a group or in a company or a corporation, and hospitals and schools, where all these people come together. All of them have a personality. And because they have a personality, it's really important to know how that organization is running, what are some of the challenges, and how to get them back on track so that they can have the best return on investment. And so the best return on investments is always people. So my tagline is that I'm a people expert. I help people with people, even if that person is themselves, because oftentimes you think it's somebody else with the problem, and it's really you standing in the need of some help. And so that's what I do.
When you come into an organization, I'm sure you have a protocol for how you accomplish that task. What is it that you do? Because, I mean, nobody knows you. You know, you walk in, you're petite, beautiful,
Oh, thank you
friendly,
so much.
but, still people are standoffish.
Well, sometimes they are, but people is what I do. It's just my gift. And so generally when I go in to work with a company, I'll know ahead of time because I've worked with the leadership and did some assessments, maybe assess the people who are going to be in the group. And it just depends on what the issue is. So one of the things that I do is I spend a lot of time talking to people about the 5 reasons why people fail at their jobs.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen up, take notes. Go ahead,
The
doctor.
first reason that people fail, and I really believe that these are the top 5 reasons why people fail at anything. But the first reason is coachability. Because if you lack the ability to implement feedback, how do you get better? And oftentimes when we take feedback and we get it and we don't like it, then we act out. We throw it away. We don't think it's valuable. We get an attitude. We resist. And it may be something to really help you get better. So coachability is the number one reason why people fail, because they can't take feedback from their coworkers, from their bosses, from their customers. And so even in our personal life, so sometimes as a parent, you might not take coach feedback from your children because you feel like I'm the parent. But no, you may need to learn something. Right. So coachability is really big. Number 2 is emotional intelligence.
EI, I talk about that all the time.
Emotional intelligence is when you lack the ability to manage your own emotions But secondly, accurately assess the emotions of others. So you are either the type of person that people can't say boo to you because you cussing, crying, or fighting, or you push people and push people till you push them over the edge. And so that's why we see a lot of these workplace violence things that's going on, because sometimes you're pushing people and you think that you're challenging them, or you're getting them told, or I'm keeping it 100. No, some people going through something and you may not know that. So emotional intelligence is not just about you controlling yourself, but making sure that you're not pushing other people till they blow up.
That is very, very important, because you don't know. I tell everyone, you don't know what's in that person's little red wagon.
Exactly.
Everybody comes in with their own wagon. And so you never know really what's in that wagon and what's happening at that time. So that's number two,
And
emotional intelligence.
Number three is motivation. And motivation is when you lack the ability to reach your own highest potential. And those are the type of people that do just enough to get by. They'll get rolled up, but they won't get fired. If it's raining, they're not coming to work that day.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not motivated. And those are also the type that can be very toxic in the workplace, because say like there's morale is low and the team has got together and they said we're going to have this as a team building or morale booster activity or contest. They'll be in the, I don't need to win no parking spot. I don't need to have my picture on the wall. I don't need
Negativity.
You're just not motivated. Number 4 is temperament type, or personality type, or character type. And there are only 4 types of people. Only 4. It's only 4 personality types. Every personality model has 4 at its core. They may have more, but their base is 4, and it grows out of the 4. So I use color to talk about the 4 types. And so temperament type is that you have the personality suited for the position as well as the work environment, because oftentimes we hire for the position,
right?
Don't think nothing about the environment, so they can do the job but they can't do it with people.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Or have you ever known people who, I always use this example, have you ever gone to the church and the usher don't like people?
Oh, I had that experience this past week when I went to see Kwame Kilpatrick. The guy just targeted me. You pull your mask up, pull your mask up, you'll pull your mask up and put you out. But it was ridiculous. It was so bad that Minister Troy Muhammad said, I'm not going to speak to him.
Wow.
Just for some reason. I was sitting, nobody sitting next to me, nothing. I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? So I know what you just targeted. You're right.
Yes, it's some people that just
control freak.
Some people don't need to do certain jobs.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant or a fast food place to get, so I always say you go to the chicken place to get chicken, and then when you ask for chicken, we don't have any chicken. How
did that happen?
How you don't have chicken? It's the chicken place.
I do that all the time. When you go in restaurants, they say we don't have any hot sauce. I said, this is not Bangladesh. This is the United States of America. You could have walked to the corner
store.
Your business and
Right.
got hot sauce from the store.
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you run out of things in America? This is not Bangladesh.
Well, they act like it, and
right?
They do that. So
the first one you said personality for the position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the work environment.
So it's 2. Yeah, you got to have the personality to do the job, but you also need to have the personality for the environment that you work in.
Yes.
Because just like it's people that don't do well at working with people, there's also people who don't do well working by themselves.
Right.
So you have to know you, and don't get a job or go after a job just for the money. I say, please don't chase money. If you chase your passion and your vision and what you know you're gifted at, money will chase you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Money will chase you.
Money will chase you. And the last of
Okay.
the 5 is just the functionality or the skill set necessary for the job. Now let me say this. Out of the 5, functionality is the number one thing they train in. They train you on the skills of the job. They train you on the policies and the procedures. You do all of that. But when you look at coachability, and that's the number one reason why people fail, most people don't get coached or trained in how to take feedback. They train you on how to give feedback if you're a supervisor.
Right.
But very rarely do you have training on how to receive feedback. So I have a training that I designed called How to Take Feedback Gracefully. It's 7 things to take feedback gracefully. So those are some of the things that I may do when I go into a place to just kind of see where they're at. Then we know where we need to go. So I do a lot of diversity and inclusion training.
Of course.
I do a lot of team building and effective communication. I do the whole conflict and
conflict resolution.
Resolution. So there are 5 things of conflict. So there's an assessment that you can take, and you take this assessment, and
you have to give people a test.
Yes, give them a test. And so everyone takes the test individually to themselves, by themselves, not in a training. Right. Not they take it and then they give it to me, and then I take and aggregate all the information and the data. So then I know what are their issues, why are they conflicting, and what things specifically do we need to work on for this team? Because I can't use a cookie cutter sheet on every team. Every team has different dynamics, so I have to be skilled enough to assess what this particular team needs.
Have you found it to be more difficult in terms of doing this assessment because so many people are so techy? People are interacting with machines. They interact. They don't play outdoors. You know, they don't do stuff. They don't play back. They're playing, you know, either the lottery or gaming. Everything is so individualized now. And they have game box or whatever these do.
Well, the assessment itself is for them to take individually technology. You know, it's an assessment.
Yeah, I understand that part.
But then when we come into the room, you got to deal with people.
So you eliminate that distraction. They can't sit there.
Oh, no.
I think that's difficult for some people these days because they're so they're so used to just interacting. They don't talk, they text.
I know, but I always have specific things for them to do, and everyone has to be involved, because the one thing that I am gregarious, I am jolly, I am very easy, but I'm also a leader, and so I know when I am the leader, real leadership leads. So I don't take no. I can smile, but you're still gonna be doing this activity, boo boo. That's
okay. So you can't escape to your phones and your devices and things like that.
And the thing I'm gonna say, that one of the things that I learned through COVID is that I really don't like the Zoom training, and
I don't either.
I like doing some things that way. But certain things have an interaction that's necessary, and on Zoom it's hard to do it, even because Zoom has set up where you can do groups, you can do breakout groups in Zoom.
You can.
But you're still in different spaces, so you're still not interacting.
No, you're not.
You're not.
You're not.
So I have some contracts that I have that we've been doing on Zoom, and because I don't like them, I haven't finished them yet. So I'm really going to talk to the powers that be to see if maybe we can start doing them in person now, because it's just not working. It's not working for me, and I'm the facilitator.
Right, because you're not comfortable with the practice or the result, perhaps.
Absolutely, I'm not comfortable with the results, because I know one of the things, especially if we're doing stuff like implicit bias or diversity and inclusion and all of that, racial injustice, all that type of discussion. You don't want to open up a discussion that you can't close effectively, because I can't see everybody.
No.
So somebody may be really hurt, but in a room when we're all together, I can pick that up. I know what to do with that if I see it. But if I can't see it, how am I supposed to be able to manage it?
You can't. You actually can't. So that's all important when it comes to organizational dynamics and what you do as a consultant for companies. Is your I was going to say tactics. It's not really tactics. Is what you do valuable for little companies or big companies or
all companies?
All right. Okay.
So I have,
because you have subsets.
I have companies that I've come in, and it might have been only 6 employees.
Okay.
I've gone in and worked with people that have thousands of employees. Like McDonald's Corporation is a client of mine. They've been a client of mine now for 20 years.
That's wonderful.
20, I can't even believe I was a baby when I started.
Of course you were. Aren't we all? I tell everyone I'm the world's oldest teenager.
Yeah,
That's a
I
fact.
am. And so, yeah, I've done a lot of different companies. So companies just really, because at the end of the day, the management or the leadership of a company really wants their staff to bring their A game to the table. And so if you're beefing with your coworker, if you don't, then you're not doing your best. And so it's important that you really get those things out on the table and heal them. Because a lot of times when we think about healing, we think about when we're sick or when we think, but no, sometimes our relationships need healing.
That can be very, very true. Do you Do you know this immediately when you meet people, just on a personal or social basis? Are you is your antenna always up doing that analysis?
It's funny that you asked me that question because I don't think that I do. But my friends and my son say that I absolutely do that. They say that I could be in a conversation, just a, casual conversation, and somebody will say something that'll prick something in me, and my whole language changes, my voice changes, and then my son said, "Oh, she's in speaker mode now."
In super mode?
Speaker.
Oh, speaker mode. I like that.
She's in speaker mode. She's doing a training. And then I remember my ex-husband, he used to say we could be at a movie, just watching a movie, and then something will trigger, and I go, "Oh," he say he could just see my whole, like, "Oh, this is."
It starts the process.
It starts the
Your
process.
brain is processing all the data.
Yeah.
Well, we need to take a real quick station break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching live streaming on Facebook. Chop It Up with attorney Linda Bernard. My guest today is Dr. Sabrina Jackson from Sabrina Jackson Enterprises.
Yay.
She's a global commodity, ladies and gentlemen, and she knows a lot about a lot. I often say that about myself, but I know it's true about you as well. You can check us out right now on Facebook or Twitter or Twitch or YouTube. I urge you to participate. And of course, you can always call in as well if you like. And I do have the phone number. Well, I did have the phone number. In any event, check us out. Let's switch gears for a minute to personal relationships. We talked a little bit about business and about how people can be successful using your 4-point plan, where you're looking at coachability, emotional intelligence, motivation, and temperament. And actually, the fifth would be the functionality in terms of your on-the-job skills. So you've got these environments that you go into, and you do this analysis, and you hopefully improve the working relationship and, if you will, the personal characteristics of the team that you're working with, because that's the whole purpose of it, to make me better. I want to grow as a result of Dr. Sabrina Jackson. When you've been doing, though, a lot of other things lately. I see you frequently on the Fox News Network.
Yes.
You do a regular show here on Channel 2 in the city of Detroit about really relationships and so forth. Can you tell us a little bit about that and about what your other expertise is? A different hat.
Well,
not the corporate suit and tie.
Not the corporate suit and tie. I am definitely a relationship expert, so I spend a lot of time helping people with their interpersonal relationships, whether that be with their spouse, their significant other, their children, their parents, their siblings. A lot of times people are having difficulty with the people that they have chosen to be in a relationship with. And so, I spend a lot of time doing that. So a lot of times Fox will call for me to talk about, things that relate to how people are relating, or when they're having issues, like with this whole George Floyd thing and how people are relating to that. And so how do we deal with the grief and the loss that we experience, and how people of color really experience loss differently when it comes to what we see when we look at a George Floyd situation. Yes, the humanity in us suffer the loss of just the person, but then we're also suffering the loss of what we thought we were in this country that we aren't. the fact that we thought there was some strides that were made, that we're saying that we still have those same issues. As a parent, the thinking I still have to make sure that my son is protected and he knows what to do at a traffic stop to get home safely. So all of those emotions are still things that people of color deal with that our majority culture never think about. They never had to think about telling their children how to handle being stopped by the police.
I agree with you about that, but I also think, Dr. Jackson, that we're oversaturated with negative things. I mean, George Floyd, we watched that a million times.
A million
I mean,
times.
if you had only seen it maybe one or to maybe 10 times, it would have been not as traumatic. But when you see it a million times,
I agree.
and everybody's talking about it ad infinitum, 24 hours a day, there's no room for joy or for other things.
Well, this is the thing I say about healing. You know, I'm the acronym queen. I love an acronym.
Okay.
So I have an acronym for HEAL. And HEAL is to help everyone affirm life. Because there's still life affirming things going on for you. What things bring you joy? What things make you giggle? What things make you smile? And to tap into them. So when COVID first started, I created for McDonald's. I created it for McDonald's, but I've done it all over the place now. But I created a talk called Creating Magic During Times of Uncertainty.
Okay.
Because we were definitely uncertain when that whole shutdown thing. We ain't
Right.
never been through no shutdown. We got to stay at home. What you talking about? What?
Oh.
Everything closed. What? So all that. And so magic, when you think about magic, you think about the word magic, you think about
Right.
pulling a rabbit out of the hat. You think about trickery. You think about sorcery. You think about, things of that nature. But a synonym for magic is power.
Correct.
So I always say, when you can tap into the power source, when you can tap into the things you really do have power over, that's what creates real magic.
I would agree.
So the M in magic stands for manage your stress. During that time, and even now, we still have to manage your stress. You need to know how vulnerable you are to stress. You have to know what stress shows up as for you and your body so that you can come up with a stress management plan to calm yourself down. Every single person needs to be able to do that.
You talked about that before we went on the air about your stress management plans.
Oh, yes.
The
yes.
lavender.
Yes, yes.
The scrub.
The body scrubs, yes.
The shower.
the music.
The heated blanket. And swaddling yourself.
Yes.
And swaddling yourself.
Yes.
You know,
So those are things you have to do. You have to come up with things that you know work for you. The A is to have an attitude of gratitude, because what
Absolutely.
I've learned is if you're grateful, you can't complain, and if you can complain, you're not grateful. So you make the choice.
That's so true.
I choose gratitude. I have so much to be thankful for.
I do too, and I say it every day.
Every
I start
day.
every day.
Yep, every
Thank
day.
you for this breath.
Yes,
For putting this one
yes,
foot in front
yep,
of the other on
yes.
my own.
And you know how people say, "Oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed
I
this
can't do
morning."
that.
I don't have a wrong side to my bed. If I wake up and can get up, it's
That's
a
all
good
that
day.
matters.
That's all that matters.
Praise the Lord.
Let's go. Let's go. So that attitude of gratitude is really important. Then the G is that you need to guard your peace. Guard your peace at all costs. Because just what you were saying, watching the news 24/7 will drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people this all the time: I'm on the news, but I don't watch the news.
I understand.
I watch snippets every now and again. Sometimes things happen, and I have
want
no
to
idea.
get an update or something.
I have
like that.
no idea that it happened. And people go, "You don't know?" And nope, I don't, because I don't.
Yeah.
I gotta. In order for me to keep me straight, I just can't take all of that in. Because first of all, what I do for a living, people bring me their problems all day.
Correct.
Most times when people call me, they're not calling me to go, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" So, let me tell you what happened. So I have to create the space that's peaceful for me, and then I guard it. So I turn my notifications off. I turn my phone off. Sometimes I don't answer the phone. And so when people really press me because they want what they want.
When they want it.
When they want it.
It has nothing to do with what you're doing.
I have a situation the other day, which you know because you were there when I had the party. I had an amazing time at the party, and I was just on a high. So the next morning, I got a text, and the text was very disturbing to me because they were mad at me because they had texted me during the party, and I didn't respond. And they not speaking to me now.
They are very foolish.
They not speaking to me,
You
and
have
they
to say next and mean it.
I know. And what's so difficult for me is that I love people. I do. If I love you, I just love you.
But I'm not gonna be abused by you either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be beat up by you. I'm just not gonna be bullied by you. I really need an appointment before you leave. Well, you're not gonna get one because I'm not seeing anybody before I leave. I got a lot of stuff to do, and I leave.
Yeah, you gotta do stuff for you.
I gotta do stuff for me.
Right.
So, guarding your peace. The I. This is what you were talking about too. Identify the things that bring you joy, and do them on purpose. So one of the things that I am so excited about, I'm getting ready to partner with a comedy company. They do comedy all around the country, and they want to add a mental health component to it, and they want me to be the face of it.
Good.
So I am super duper excited about it. I think it's gonna be.
You're funny
amazing.
Anyway, so that's why.
What?
Laughter comes naturally.
I do love to laugh. I do.
And teasing and stuff comes naturally to you.
But one of the things I say, laughter is medicine for the soul.
It is.
So, and this is the part that people sometimes don't get. The main time that you really need laughter is when you're grieving, when you've experienced some trauma, whenever you feel like you should just be quiet and to yourself and that's when you need to laugh, because that laughter is like a medicine to begin to heal you.
It releases.
It does.
Endorphins, I think, in your brain.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Amazing.
And so I tell people all the time, I need laughter, and I laugh on purpose. So I listen to my favorite comedians.
Who's that?
My top three would be David Chappelle. David Chappelle is absolutely.
He's always cracking but facking.
Yes, he is. I love him. Number two would be Paul Mooney.
I have his tapes in my bedroom.
Oh my God, I love Paul Mooney. And then
I've met him several times.
Number three would be Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, I like Cedric, the Entertainer. He's good too, and he's good on that show. He's been very, very successful.
Oh yes,
with the neighborhood.
And then I like just round it out. Michael Collier is a very good friend of mine.
I know
like
Michael
brother,
and
like
his
a
wife.
Brother to me.
Yeah.
Yep, like a
he
brother
was just
to
here.
me. I was with him the whole time.
Oh, I wanted to go see him and I didn't. I was just tied up at work.
Yes, you should.
I know him. He knows me. Right.
So
he is good.
He is but he's silly all the time.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he's never not funny.
No, that's
like
very true.
We're out eating. He gets up and go bother people. I'm like, sit down. But we have a great time. He's like a brother to me. And who would round up Levan Crawford?
I don't know.
He's a big guy. He's a big
guy.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, he is good.
He does this whole set that
makes you laugh out loud.
Oh my God! He talks about his mother taking him to the grocery store, and outside the grocery store, she's telling him all this stuff, and then she stopped and say, "Now tell me what I just said," and he literally repeats it all the way back to her, like in a little kid's voice. It's hilarious because she says, "And if you touch anything, I will kill you because I'm young enough to have some more kids."
I like that. That's something that you could say and mean it. Right?
And mean it. Yeah, I'm young enough to have another kid. Right. And then the C in magic is to create your own circle of support. And this is the thing about a circle of support. I say this all the time, and sometimes people get offended, but okay. You don't get to choose your family.
No, you don't.
But you do get to choose your circle.
That's correct.
And just because you in my family does not mean you in my circle.
That's correct.
I've learned the hard way. I used to be so hurt when I would give events and things and my family members wouldn't come. I'd be really looking for them to come and support, and they wouldn't come. And so I'll be like, well, why they won't come? And God just, he said, but did you see the 200 people that did come?
Correct. That like you just for you.
Can you just focus on that? Right. How about doing that? Right. I was like, okay.
That is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, you now have a brand new definition for the word magic: to manage stress, to have an attitude of gratitude, to guard your peace, to identify the things that bring you joy, and to create a circle of support, the C. Choose your circle.
Yes.
You're listening to WJZZ Cool TV with on Chop It Up with attorney Linda Bernard. My guest is the infamous, and you're going to see more of her. If you've seen her already on national TV and national publications, even more of her in the soon, very, very near future as she transitions from the Metro Detroit area to Cali. I'm going
back
to
Cali.
Cali. For real. Let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about what you do in terms of your business consulting, and certainly in terms of relationships, in terms of magic and how you create that in your environment. But I'm sure that most of the people, or many of the people that contact you, want to talk about MEN. Men, and or WOMEN, woman.
Yes.
I will always be a woman. I'm not going to be a gender neutral person. And I was embarrassed when the United States Congress said there's no more mothers or fathers or he or she.
I don't even know what
There's
that
just
means.
a they.
I don't even know
I
what
just
that
turned
means.
off, and a black congressman stood there and said that. I remember it like yesterday. He introduced it at the time they voted it in the United States House of Representatives. It was disgusting. But anyway, I am a she.
I don't understand it.
I don't either.
I'm trying to understand it because I do have
I don't
lots
have any
of
problem.
friends
Me
that
either.
are in the LGBTQ
Me
community.
too. I have no problem.
No problem if you're fluid. So this is one of the things I learned though, because I have a nephew who's in the LGBTQ community, and I used to think that being a fluid person meant that you kind of liked whoever you like. If you like women, you like women. If you like men, you like men. What I thought that's
you
what
could
fluid,
like both. In other
right?
Words. Yeah, okay.
Or whatever. So that's not what fluid means.
What does it mean?
Fluid means for you as the person, you are fluid. That sometimes you have male energy.
Correct.
And sometimes you have the female side.
Correct.
I did not know that. I learned that. Wow. I said, I didn't know that.
That is true.
He said, you did, sometimes I can be just, because he's the guy. He said, sometimes I can be like that dude. Yeah. He said, but sometimes I can dress it up and be.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
I
fluid.
think that's always true. I'm fluid.
Yep.
I like that. I can be aggressive, like if you're in court or something like that, and then you could turn that off when I see you. You know, it just raises the endorphins fly. Oh, she's so pretty, she's so cool, she's so nice. I'm so happy that she's here. but let's talk about the male-female relationships and what you see is happening now with African American women and or African American men and their families. How are we evolving? How are we changing? You have a much broader perspective than I have.
One of the things that
I only have a divorce court usually, or child custody matter.
Right. Well, one of the things that I'm seeing, especially with COVID, is something that they have coined the pandemic within the pandemic.
Okay.
And the pandemic within the pandemic is domestic violence, because now you might not have liked the person a whole lot, but you could deal when you out the house.
Yeah, you can escape.
Yeah, but now you can't escape, and so the things that pushed your buttons really push your buttons, and so there's been a lot of domestic violence going on. So people don't know how to fight.
What we call is it real domestic violence, like what we consider domestic violence, or is it, the new type of domestic violence? Well, he hollered at me, or he slammed the door, or
no, we talking.
Or he hit the wall. I don't care about you hitting the wall.
Yeah,
as long as you're not hitting me.
As long as you don't hit me, no.
I don't tear it down, especially if it's your wall. I don't care. I don't care.
Do what you gotta do.
I am the one.
I'm
Only
the
thing
one.
in this
Don't
room
hit me.
that's important.
But I will say this, because a lot of times obviously people don't understand that emotional abuse can be much more damaging than physical
abuse. It is long term. You see it with children and adults.
Yeah, because with emotional abuse, you don't see the scars.
That's correct.
And those scars take longer to heal.
That's true.
And so somebody may have been made to feel like dirt, that they're not valuable, that they're not pretty, that no one wants them. And so it's both sides. I've worked with men who've been abused by women, and a lot of people think that men can't be abused by women. There is some mean women out here.
On that point, I've written 3 articles on that. I say that domestic violence is an equal opportunity crime. There are a lot of men that get hit, bounced around, and abused by women. As you say, psychologically, but also physically. They get beat up. I mean, it's amazing.
And I remember it's a friend
Instead
of mine.
clocking her, because they can't clock her because
he's a big old man.
Right, because the police always assume that the woman is the victim.
Yes.
And that irritates the heck out of me.
And there's a major thing within the football industry.
What?
A lot of NFL players, wives or women, know that NFL player can't hit them. Because if you hit me, you're going to lose your contract. You're gonna, because they have all this stuff in the NFL. They have
all the power.
They got all the power.
All the
and
power.
So
and one lie can bring them down.
I remember a client who, his wife, whenever she got mad at him, she would jump. She was tiny little thing. She would jump on him and scratch his face up because she didn't want him to go anywhere.
She wanted him to be embarrassed, so he couldn't. Yeah, like a cat or something. Just and do that. Yeah, he that should have happened one time, and then he should have exited stage right.
He had young children, so he felt like he just wanted to,
sacrifice
And a lot of times, let me
them.
say this: a lot of times people say they stay for the children, and why do you stay for the children and you're showing children misery?
Right.
Because children pick up on what's going on and what's not going on. I remember being young, going over to a family member's house, and they slept in separate rooms. The father slept in the main floor of the house, and the wife slept upstairs
in the main.
So I remember one time she was getting me ready for bed, and I was about 8. And so I said, so why you and Pop sleep in the different beds? Because my parents are married and they sleep in the same bed. Mm-hmm. And I remember she said, oh, sometimes I sleep down there, sometimes he sleeps up here. And I went, that at 8.
Yeah.
I remember going, that don't make no sense. That just don't make no sense. But for some people that may.
It makes sense because I like TV.
Right.
I'm working. I got stuff all over the bed.
My God.
You do that too.
Oh my
God,
yeah. My bed is horrible.
The right side is full unless I have company. Right. Then I gotta clean it up.
Then I have to hurry and clean it up.
Right.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
But,
with relationships though, one of the things that I tell men need to make sure that they do something that's loving for the woman, because women require love.
That's true, and attention.
Yes, they require it.
Right.
They need to feel loved. So I don't even know if you noticed, but at my party, my guy was there, and I did not know he was. It surprised me so much that he was there, because I didn't even know my friends knew how to get in touch with him, because I didn't see you
only talking to women. Every time I saw you.
Oh yeah, when I saw him, I ran over to him and hugged him and kissed him. I was so happy.
Yeah.
I could not believe that. I kept saying, because he had literally just left my house, and I was like, "You left my house and came here, really?"
And didn't tell you.
Didn't say nothing to me.
He was part of the surprise.
He was part of the surprise, and so that really warmed my heart. That made me feel loved. So women, I tell them, they have to make sure that they do something that makes their man feel respected.
Right.
Because men require respect.
It's so interesting that you say that. I tell people all the time that the most important thing, actually, to me in a relationship really is respect. Because you can love somebody. My cousin was killed by her husband, and he wrote on the wall in his own blood. He slit his wrist afterwards and said, "I love you, Debbie." He always loved her, but respect to me, Dr. Jackson, is actually more important than love. Don't abuse me intellectually or socially.
Right.
Don't mistreat
me.
Don't demean me.
Don't demean me.
Don't use your power because of my feelings for you to try to crush me or anything like, or disrespect me with my friends or in public. I mean, respect
is
more
so
important than love.
It is so important.
Love is great,
Don't-
but you can kill me and say you
and
love
say
me.
you love and really did.
Right, and beat me or do anything else.
And really did.
Right.
And they mad.
Right.
They really
right.
do.
Out of passion.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much passion involved with love that respect is more important to me than love. And I tell my girlfriend, I mean, don't. He's being disrespectful. You know, he really loves. I don't care about the love.
I was at an
Respect
event last night, and the gentleman said something out of the way to the woman, and I went.
Did you check him?
I immediately did.
I do too.
And I said,
it makes me very unpopular.
I said, excuse me, and he was like, "What, Dr. Sabrina?" I said, "Not on my watch, not in my presence, not in my presence."
Right.
And I said, "Let me do a little coaching with you right now." He said, "Well, I told her that she needs to let me answer my own questions, and she needs to let me speak." You could have told her all of that
differently.
Not only differently, but at a different time.
Correct.
Wait till you get home, or wait till you get in the car when it's just you two. And even then, how you say something is so important.
Right.
So if you love her, you have to respect her. And she has to respect you too.
Absolutely.
So if you feel like what she did was disrespectful to you, because I believe that he did. Because remember, I said men need to feel respected. So he might have felt disrespected in that moment.
Right.
And this is the thing that happens with couples. A man will feel disrespected. He's going to do something that's not loving.
Oh, absolutely. He'll strike back.
Yep. And then when a woman feels unloved, she's going to do something disrespectful. And so they get on this roller coaster ride and they can't get off. So I start with clients and ask the question.
So you do some counseling for
couples?
I
do.
And married couples
Absolutely.
as well? Oh, okay.
Well, you know, I was in the movie, you know, as the expert with the couples.
That's
so yes,
right.
I do. And so I tell couples, that's one of the first things I ask them. I'll ask the woman, when was the last time you did something to make him feel respected?
Right.
And then I'll ask him, what was the last thing that you did to make her feel loved?
Those are very, very good questions.
And I talk about honesty. You know, one of the things I'm working on right now is I'm working on I don't know if it's going to be a book or just an article, I don't know, but I'm working on I call it the 4 C's that are necessary in a relationship. And you talked about this one already. You said passion, but I call it the crave. That you have to crave the person. The person that you really want to be with, you got to want to be with them. I don't want to be with somebody that when I go, I'm going to go, I could take them or leave them. Because if I can take them or leave them, trust and believe there's going to be a day that I'm going to leave them.
Some kind of magic. There has to be
it has
some kind of attraction.
Yes.
Or whatever that's called.
Yes, it does.
It has to be. Oh, okay.
So I call that the crave. And so
Okay.
you need that, because even when you get angry or you get upset, you have something that will trigger,
that attracts you.
Yep.
You're just attracted to the person.
Yes, absolutely. Then the next C is commitment.
Okay.
And let me say
What's
this
that?
about commitment. Commitment is a choice.
That is true.
It's a choice. And if you choose to be committed, that's a choice that you make. And to me, if that's your value system and you say that you are committed, you do not allow a person's their behavior outside of you to change your values. So if I am a committed person and I know that I value commitment, then my behavior is going to speak to my values. And so I'm not going to do a tit for tat, because I've had clients that have said, well, yeah, I cheated, but I cheated because he cheated.
Right.
No, cheating in you, boo.
Right.
Because if you wanted to do something, cheating wouldn't have been your thing to do. There's other things you can do to let him know that you didn't like it.
Right.
But cheating wouldn't have been what you did, because you would go against your own value system.
And it's immature and childish.
Of course it is.
I mean, it's just you're not a kid, you know.
So commitment, I say, is absolutely a choice. And once you make the choice to be committed, and you make that choice for you, you honor what you made a commitment to for yourself first. Right. So that's why I say monogamy, as humans, monogamy is hard for us. Right. It is.
Almost
but
impossible.
But it's not hard once you've made a decision and you're gonna stick by your own values.
Right.
Like, I'm not a thief.
No.
So because I'm not a thief,
Right.
I
Your
don't care.
purse
You
is
could-
absolutely safe there
you-
today
yeah,
or next year.
I'm not going in your stuff. I'm not going through.
I
I'm
don't
not
do
a
that
thief.
either.
I'm not that person. So if I'm not that person, I have a set of values
Right.
that I live by.
Right.
So I'm not going to do something to someone else that I don't want done to me.
No,
I don't.
But see, that goes back to the what I call even the big C, which is character.
Yes.
See,
yes.
you're not a thief because you're not a thief.
I'm not
Period.
a thief. Period. I'm just
you're,
not.
you're not an abuser
Yeah,
of children.
No,
you're not.
I'm not.
Somebody that you're just not. Just don'ts.
Yep.
That are your roadblocks in terms
Yes.
of your in terms of your interpersonal relationships. It's not even a thought. You know
Right.
what I mean? You couldn't even say that to me and me not be offended.
Right.
That you stole.
Right. Stole something. No. The next C is, it's funny because my honey was telling me that I should change it, but I said connection.
Okay.
And connection is very different from the crave, because I could be attracted to you, but really don't have nothing to talk about, don't have nothing in common.
Correct.
Just
The eye candy.
very good eye candy. Oh my God.
Always.
Oh my God, I've had eye candy in my life.
I'm like, God bless the fact that I got eyesight.
Yes, yes. But that connection is just, that's who you laugh with. That's who you,
Right.
when you're excited, that's, you can't wait to tell them. You want to hear their stories at the end of the day. So
Right.
that connection, and so my honey said, is continuity. It's like the flow that you have, the ebb and the
That's
flow.
interesting.
Yep.
I think he has something.
Yep,
there.
I did. I said, okay, all right. I like that he.
I like that.
And he says because we have great connection, but he said we also have continuity.
Ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm.
You push, he lays back. It just goes
Yep,
back and forth.
yes.
But
it's
you know,
ebb and flow.
that's based on what I said earlier, respect.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
And then the
The
last
fo-
C,
caring.
caring,
what's the last C?
communication.
Oh, I agree. Okay, that's a big C.
That's a big C.
That's a big C.
That's a big C. Because
That
I
is
believe
a
that.
big C.
I believe that, and so this is what I say. These are the four legs of a table
In a relationship.
in a relationship.
Crave, commitment,
There
connection,
are things. There are other things that you can put on top of the table.
Okay.
So, but those are the things you absolutely have to have.
So your relationship now has been going on for how long? That makes you smile. Your honey.
Just since February.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
It's very
You're
new.
in the honeymoon phase, they say.
Mhm.
I like that phase,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like it may be a permanent kind of honeymoon.
It
here.
is. It is. It is. I just like him, and
That
I
is
just.
so important.
I like his company. We laugh. Oh my God, we laugh like crazy people. We laughing about everything. He's just I tell him stories, he tell me stories, and then he'll call me in the middle of the day, and like say something from one of the stories I said. Like I was telling him a story about how a guy had asked me out for breakfast for coffee, and I said, well, let's go down to La Petite Déjeuner because I know the owner there and I go there a lot. He says,
Downtown, across from Fort, near Fort. Not that
it's
one.
on Jefferson, right before you get to Belle Isle, on the same side of the street over there.
That's Belle Isle. La Petite. Okay, I'll check it
La
out.
Petite,
Thanks
black
for telling
owned.
me.
Absolutely,
about
it's a
it.
breakfast brunch place.
It's before you get to Belle Isle.
Yes.
On Jefferson. Oh, gotcha. Go ahead. La Petite.
6375. That's the same. I know the address.
Okie dokie.
But I was telling the guy about La Petite, and he was like, "I don't think I'm gonna like it. I've never been there." And I was like, "Well, how you ain't never been there? How you know?"
Right.
He said, "Well, we could just." He said, "I usually get my coffee from the BP." And I said, "You want me to go to the BP to get coffee on a date? Who does?" I said, "So then where we gonna drink the? It's no place to sit in the BP. Where we gonna
Right.
sit?" He said, "We can walk around the neighborhood." I'm not
I don't
walking
walk
with
and drink.
and hot coffee.
No.
Who does
Absolutely.
that?
I want to sit down.
So now
Relax.
he'll call me, my friend. He'll call me and say, "I just rolled past a BP. You need some coffee." That is hilarious to me.
Now you can bring it to me for BP. That's cool.
That's
but
cool.
No, we're not
But
walking
we're not
around.
walking
no.
around the neighborhood
No.
like on Van. He's like on Van Dyke and 7 Mile.
Oh, heck
no,
No.
No.
Especially you, because you're too recognizable.
Oh my God! Everywhere I go.
You really are. Seriously. You really have to think about your safety and security. And ladies and gentlemen, she has great hair, big smile, but she's a tiny little petite girl. I can sit her in my lap. So I just want you to know that,
People
big
say that.
Personality.
People say that all the time. They say, I thought you were so much bigger than that.
No, but you have to protect her. She cannot be out on Van Dyke and 7 Mile.
No, not at all.
That won't work.
That won't work. Not doing
That's
that.
not working, my
So
sister.
I do think that there are still some places and spaces that, and I'm sure you would agree with this, that as black folks in America, things that were in the Willie Lynch letter that we're still dealing with today.
Oh my God, yes. It's just so sad.
And so one of the things that I tell people, and I make this an assignment for some people sometimes, I say you need to read you need to read it.
I have it.
I do too. And I send it to folk because I really need you to understand. I think that sometimes we don't know because we're not exposed. We don't read, but we don't read and we don't know. And we just keep perpetuating the thing and we don't even realize that's what we're doing. So I believe knowledge is power.
We repeat ignorance. That's all we do.
Yeah, we do. So I know that there are a lot of men these days who they really, for years they feel like the man could just leave the family. They don't have any commitment to the family. They'll leave and go get another woman and make another family over here and all that kind of stuff. And so you have to have good questions that you ask people that you're going to spend time with.
Now you sound like Steve Harvey. What are the questions?
Oh my God,
ask?
you got to ask good questions. Like what is your value about raising children? Because one of the biggest problems my ex-husband and I had was about my son. Because my son was not his son, but he loved my son.
I'm sure.
But he felt like I overdid things for my son. He says, you're gonna make him a punk. You're doing. I says, first of all, I'm his mama. That's the first thing. He said, you act like you're his lawyer. I'm more than a lawyer.
Thank you. You're everything.
I'm his mama.
Let that song go? I'm your everything. Everything.
Yes. Everything. And so I think that sometimes as women, I know I've been married twice, divorced twice. My first husband, when he asked to marry me, he made this elaborate thing and he took me to this jewelry store and took me to a jewelry store and let me pick out this big old diamond. And I was just super excited about the diamond, to be real honest. I was just, so the second time,
the bling,
I said, no, you want to marry me, we need to talk. I need to ask some questions. So I asked about his value about parenting. How would he deal with me making more money than him? How would he deal with me being popular and people knowing me and seeing me? And I wasn't even nowhere near as popular as I am now. But the things that I knew that could derail a relationship. How often do you want sex?
Right.
Because that's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
Some people want sex every day.
Right.
Some people want sex once a month. That's a huge...
That won't work. Goes back to our conversation about touch.
Yes, yes. 3 times a week is what Dr. Oz says.
You and me both.
Dr. Oz
and
says
Dr.
3.
Oz. See,
Dr.
we have the
Oz
same.
said, yep, Dr. Oz said 3 times a week.
I agree with him. I don't know how he does it at his age, but that'll be another discussion we'll have to have. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our show to end. Unfortunately, this is just part 1 with Dr. Sabrina Jackson. When she comes back to Detroit for parties and events and to consult her clients, I'm going to invite her back again so we can get into this relationship situation really deep. And you will see a beautiful, beautiful woman with beautiful, beautiful hair and the most beautiful smile that I know. And I always say that the smile is the mirror to the heart.
Yes, it is.
So thank you so much for joining us on WJZZ Cool TV on Chop It Up with attorney Linda Bernard. I am police commissioner, also Linda D. Bernard. Please vote for me. We'll be voting again in November for everyone in Detroit, as you know, and you'll still be a Detroit resident. We're voting for mayor, city council, police commissioners, everyone. So I look forward to seeing you on your return trip from going to Cali. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr.